Hello and welcome to this week's GG Weekend Watch, where we have a very different looking schedule to the one we were anticipating. Of course, no Ascot or Haydock or Newcastle then this weekend as a result of the frozen conditions that are sweeping the country at the minute. But fortunately, we have rescheduled. Thank God I have Andrew Mounts and Daryl Carter to help me through this weekend, because instead we now have 5 scheduled races at Lingfield and 3 at Chelmsford to look at. So well done to the lads for their flexibility and being able to cover all of these races in very little time to be able to have something to look forward to on this week's podcast. And hopefully more of the same as last week, because we had 100% strike rate on last week's show. Clip that up and put that out there, because only one of the horses that the lads tipped off actually ran, but it won. More importantly, that was Pocket the Prophet, who won at 4-1 for Daryl. Right. So 100% strike rate again this week, please, lads. And we will begin with a 0 to 70 handicap for 3-year-olds and over 5 furlongs at Lingfield at 115. Good luck with this one, Daryl. This is some start.
Yeah, I know. It's quite crazy, isn't it? But this is a tricky opener, actually. I thought that the Fav Bertha's Den Boy at 7-2. I thought the drop in trip and the wide draw in stall 10, I thought would be against him. So I was quite looking to take him on. I thought Mixed Spirit would go well, but the one I want to be with is Amour de Ma Vida.
Ah, love of my life.
Yes. Do you know
what?
Not
a Ricky Martin song.
I'll tell you what, it's so strange.
It could be.
It is, right? I was Googling it, and I ended up going down a rabbit hole of Ricky Martin, watching Ricky Martin. He looks like bloody... oh my God, you should see the state of him back then, I'll tell you. But yeah, anyway, back to...
That's why you sided with her.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons. No, I just think she's running into form. I think it was a good race that she won last time at Wolves, beating Politics. I think he's going to go and win today in the 5:05 at Southall. I think he's a bit of a rejuvenated character. She had run well prior to that at Wolves as well, but had run particularly well behind Pop Dancer when just given too much to do. She was caught wide around the bend and at the rear of the field and just trying to make up the ground, and she just couldn't do it. I think there's a bit more pace in this race today, which I think will suit. But I also think they're going to ride her a bit more handily from stall 3. I think she's still on the upgrade a little bit, and when you can catch these mares at the right time or these fillies at the right time, they tend to just continue rolling. So I'm hoping that's going to be the case with Amour de Ma Vida.
Close enough, yeah. And what Demi there at 13-2 then for Daryl to back up that win from last time out. And I'm glad you went down the rabbit hole then with about 2 hours to look ahead to this racing. So I'm glad you used the time wisely, Daryl. Andrew, who do you like?
Yeah, well, Daryl will be living La Vida Loco if Amour de Ma Vida wins. But I was quite interested in Yamu, who ran second to another Ricky Martin horse, La Roca del Fuego, at Chelmsford last time out. And
Rock of Fire.
It was foggy, but apparently he did come from off the pace when finishing second behind a winner who made all. And so again, looking for the horses who did best of those to come from off the pace on pace favouring tracks is often a good angle. And the downside is that he's 0 from 13 on the all-weather, and he's only ever won on turf in the months of July and August. But Dean Ivory's Yards been among the winners. He could go well from stall 2. More interesting, I thought, with the Defiant coming out of stall 9, who has had 6 runs on Polytrack in class 5 or lower, 4 wins, a second and a fourth. So the Defiant last time out was only 9th of 10, but was beaten less than 3 lengths. That was a class 4 contest in a new headgear combination. The cheek pieces went on with the usual tongue tie. Those cheek pieces are left off today. So coming back to class 5 company for the first time since finishing second by a nose at Goodwood in August, and is £2 lower than for that run. And has got a superior strike rate on the all-weather as opposed to turf in particular. On the Polytrack, as I mentioned earlier, I thought the Defiant would go well. One general point for betting on the all-weather this weekend is that when it's really, really cold on the all-weather, as you know, Kate, given what all your work riding experience, this time of year it's very hard to get work into horses at home. Gallops are frozen. We've seen with like the likes of Newcastle that all weather surfaces can be frozen as well. Surrounding roads are frozen, so it's obviously dangerous to take the horses out. Staff are snowed in and can't get into work necessarily. the first race at Southwell today, this is Thursday, the 203, the horse with the most recent outing, Brownlee, just landed a gamble, ran 6 days ago. So if you're looking at sort of play spots and things like that, maybe just side with the horse who last had the most recent run. So you've got Lilkian in here who ran 3 days ago, you know, a Mixed Spirit who ran 5 days ago. Wouldn't put you off having a look at those as well. But I'll go with the Defiant just because of his Class 5 polytrack stats. But it is, as Daryl said, a very tricky one, which is probably why the Tote have chosen this one as their Tote trifecta rollover race. All the money that wasn't won in trifecta pools earlier on this week's gone into this one. So if you do fancy the 1, 2, 3, this is the race to have a stab at.
Yeah, definitely. So, like I say, with that rollover then that they've got for the trifecta pool, definitely be having a play in this, given how open it is. But the Defiant as the main play for Andrew. I actually like one in this because I thought, why not just get a selection out the way early on this card and leave the rest to you, to be honest with you. So I may as well nap in this race. And I really like Pepper Streak, who ran in the same race as your selection of More de Mi Vida, Daryl, last time out. I mean, I hugely respect the joint favourite, Betherson Boy, at the head of a market, may well go on to win this, but I just prefer the price about Pepper Streak, available at 12 to 1. A filly that's only a winner of one of her 14 starts, with that win coming on her stable and British debut in February at Newcastle over this trip. That was in a maiden. She has now fallen, though, to a career low mark of 64, £10 below her mark following that maiden win. Last time out, I thought that was a really fair effort when she was fourth in the 5 furlong handicap at Wolves, which is a positive to come into this race on the back of that type of contest. And as you say, hopefully I've actually napped up Politics today, who finished second in that race. So I'm really hoping that that form is boosted later on today at Southwell, as we record on Thursday. And she was given no piece up front, which did just cost her. The other horse that pestered her for the lead ended up finishing last in all. And she took well to the hood, which replaced her usual cheek pieces, and listed again here, £1 lower mark. So I thought that Pepper Streak at 12 to 1 had every chance. But as I say, one of those days now, so I'm going to leave the rest to you. 150 is our next race. Much easier to solve this one. Not 55 handicap for 3-year-olds and over 6 furlongs at 150 again at Lingfield. So Andrew, your turn to take this one, please.
I haven't a bloody clue, I think, is probably the best way. I mean, again, we haven't talked about the draw yet at Lingfield. Generally speaking, when it's very deep, you don't want to be towards the inside. So, you know, trying to avoid what's going to lead and end up on that inside rail. Looking for horses who are race fit. So, I mean, looking at the betting here, you've got Admirable Lad, who last ran 16 days ago, Lothian and Perfect Symphony, 3 to 1, 11 to 2 second and third favourites. Last ran 59 and 79 days ago. So without looking into it too deeply, that would be a bit of a concern for me. So again, I'll be even looking at John Gallagher's horse, Pusey Street, who last raced 9 days ago. I think that's the one who's had the most recent outing in all these. Didn't run particularly well, finishing 8th. That was her first run since May. Would have been needed. She was a massive price. That was at Chelmsford, so it's not impossible that she could take a step forward. But it's a horrible, filthy race. I'll go Admirable Lad over Pusey Street, 9 to 4 favourite and 33 to 1.
Oh, geez, we don't mind that whatsoever. I'm always scared of saying that filly's name. It is Pusey Street, they're 33 to 1 then for her, and along then with the favourite as well. But a way to play this race for Andrew. Darryl, any stronger convictions with it?
No, not really. I did come down on the favourite, Admirable Lad. No real strong opinion at all. I just didn't like the race as a whole. I didn't think any of them were too reliable at all. I thought this was improving, and still could have a little bit more to come. Off the back of that run at here in at the beginning of the month, that came after 75 days off. I thought the horse might just improve a touch. Looks like a horse that's going the right way, but other than that, I've not really got a strong opinion. No,
completely fair. But yeah, like you say, if you had to sort of gun to your head, then maybe siding with him. Right. Lucky for you guys, though, we have another 0 to 55 handicap up now, this time from Chelmsford for 3-year-olds and over a mile at 2:05. And despite this being a low grade handicap, we do have some horses coming here, at least in good form, however. So, Daryl, who are you siding with?
Yeah, I like Nick Vedder for this. I thought he finished really well at Wolves behind again, another horse that a 3-year-old that's sort of on the upgrade. Didn't really get the clearest of runs. I didn't think Ryan Sexton gave him the best of rides that day. Had to switch onto the inside, which was was not doing anyone any favours all day, but stayed on pretty strongly. And I just thought that was an inkling that he was going to return to form. His last 2 runs have been far better than anything he showed during the summer or the spring. And he just could be coming to hand at the right time. 8 days return, which would suit Andy. Return to the track, fit well, looks in good form. Think he can go well. He's one of these horses, I think, that just once he gets going, or once he gets his head in front, or goes close to getting his head in front, he continues to run well. So I think that's all you're going to need here. It's just a horse to run well. I think he can reverse form with the Fav. I can't say his name, so I'll leave that to you. I think he'll reverse form with the Fav because of that clear run just did cost him. He was better than the bare result, so I think he'll go close.
Yeah, to reverse that form then. But as you say, I mean, Vitesse Son did manage to boost that form himself in his next start, hence why he's as short as he is at the head of the market at 13-2. Looks a nice price about Nick Vedder for that contest. So Daryl's going to play in this, Andrew. Do you have any selections you really fancy?
Yeah, I'll side with the favourite. I mean, Eagle Eyed Freddy, 9-4 second favourite, is going to make the running from stall 1, you would imagine, under Erica Parkinson. Vitesse du Sun, I mean, it's frustrating I didn't put him up as a bet last time, because he ran, go back to the 18th of November, 4 runs back, he ran in the Pace Collapse Twilight Revenge race at Kempton. Nick Vedder was in that as well. Nick Vedder, I thought, was flattered, because you look at that race, the winner, the second, the fourth were priced at 20-1, 40-1, 40-1, and all came from off the pace. The horse to take was over Starlight, the 11-10 favourite. It did perform miracles to finish second by a short head. Unfortunately, they stuck Jim Crowley on him next time out at Lingfield, and his obsession with the inside rail at the track, caused him all sorts of trouble. What happened? £7 claimer on him next time out. He's gone and won, hasn't he, earlier this week? Al Afdal, second best of the prominent races, was 5th in that race, 132nd favourite on the night. He's come out and won since, including from a shocking draw at Chelmsford next time. Vitesse du Sun was 6th. He did 3rd best. He's the one who's probably contributed most to that ridiculously strong, unsustainable pace. And then, of course, the trouble is he's a front runner. So they've sent him to Wolverhampton, where, again, you don't want to, generally speaking, apart from the last meeting, I think you don't want to be anywhere near the inside rail. He's got beat half a length at 14-1, a cracking run. He's then bumped into the even money favourite Measured Moments, who's obviously well ahead of his mark, finished second again. So I thought, well, he's the best horse in the race when he ran earlier this week. I thought, I don't want to back him. So what they've done, hammered him in the betting into favouritism, and they've changed tactics. They've ridden him from midfield, and he's duly gone and won very comfortably. So they're going to do that again today, on Saturday, I'm sure. He's stall 7. You've got a front runner in stall 1. They're just going to get him out, get position, track the pace, and come through and win quite comfortably, I think. So yeah, Vitesse du Sun, strong. Yeah, I mean, strong. I was going to say strong bet, strong fancy at 11-10. Oh, it's just out to 6-4.
I was just going to say, possibly 6-4 now. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think. I'll quite happily take on Eagle Eyed Freddy, who's been finding it hard to win with. It looks like a one-dimensional front runner who'll, probably fold when headed, with Vitesse du Sun on his shoulder, breathing on him. So yeah, Vitesse du Sun for me.
Oh, it's going to be interesting to see then the battle of these two horses facing off yet again, then these two, and for the pair of the lads who have sided with one apiece. It's Vitesse du Sun then for Andrew and Nick Vedder at 13-2 then for Daryl. Right, we are back to Lingfield now, where we're up in grade at least, into a 0-60 handicap, this time for 3 rods and over a mile 4 at 225. 14 declared runners here. Andrew, who are you siding with?
None of the above would be the answer, I think. I generally, my Lingfield bets tend to be in the sort of 5 furlong to 1 mile category, occasionally stray into 10 furlongs. Went for a 2-mile race earlier this week and regretted it. Although at least the horse in question sort of traded at 6-1 and running from 40-odd to 1. But again, if I was doing a play spot here, all I'm looking at is who's had a recent run. And what Alpha Dawn over jumps 9 days ago, Vised first time 33-1. Peter Bowen. That's my token selection for the purposes of this video. But yeah, I would pass.
When you're talking recent run, how recent are we talking?
Well, I'll give you some stats. Okay, in the last 10 days on the all weather in Britain and Ireland, okay, horses who'd raced between 1 and 7 days ago won 21.4% of their starts. Okay, you can back them all at early prices, make a profit. 8 to 14 days ago, that 21% strike rate drops to sort of 10.5. and then it just drops steadily all the way down as you go through the and anything been off for 150 days or longer, sort of 4.8%. So it's an incredibly smooth graph in terms of and again, I mean, if you want to add to that as well, you can say just forget backing fillies and mares as well. They've had a shocking recent record, obviously in open company in handicaps. So this is just handicaps. So just backing anything you've raced within the last 7 days, you'd made a profit at Betfair SP or taking an early price, small loss at SP. But anything beyond that, it tends to be a struggle. So it's just that the importance when it's been hard to get work into horses at home of that recent run is massive. Normally this crops up in sort of January, February time on the all weather, but because of the sort of unseasonably cold spell, it's cropped up a little earlier this time round.
Oh, I like it. Apart from the fact...
I mean, again, if you're just thinking, oh, I want to do a play spot or I want to put together a lucky 50, and I'll just look at the front 3 or 4 on the betting, try to avoid anything drawn in stall, one at Lingfield, and just see who's had a recent run.
Mm-hmm. As I napped a horse under a penalty yesterday that got absolutely stuffed, so I must have been one of the outliers, unfortunately. but it makes complete sense. They like say with frozen gallops, it's not as though they do their exercise on the turf, because the turf is rubbish at this time of year, but then the gallops, the majority of them freeze as well. So yeah, you're not getting anywhere near as much work into them with the current conditions. So that is a good angle that I like. Daryl, are you following suit? Does it match up with your selection?
19 days, my selection.
Oh, we can take that.
But I think this is a good thing. So this is Vision of Hope for George Bowie, who's up from 7 furlongs last time up to 1.5 miles on handicap debut. If this is not better than 57, I'd be very surprised. This has just been given a sort of a handicapping typical ride, if you like. Last time at Wolves, it was in the fog, and looked to be travelling really nicely over 7 furlongs. Then all of a sudden, come out of the fog, and then there's just Sam James just bumping up and down. And I thought, my God, they must be waiting for a handicap. I think it's because on debut, she clipped heels in a novice event and just got shuffled right back through the field and was well beaten. But I think after that run, they must have thought, right, let's go down the handicapping route. The Hood first time is quite interesting. George Bowie's got a 21% stroke rate for Hood, 24% on the all weather, but it improves to 40% and a 47% return of investment if you back those horses rated under 60, which I thought was quite interesting. He's booked Daniel Muscat, who's rode 2 winners from 8 rides, 1 second this year for Bowie. And yeah, this is not a great race on the whole, really. I thought those are bigger prices. I thought were really going to struggle. I thought Pablo Prince was interesting, and I thought the Fav. You can say that, Kate. I thought those were the 2 that were interesting, but I'd be very disappointed. Vision of Hope's not better than 57. Just the manner in which this horse has gone through a few races, just visually, just looks a class above what she's running against. 3-year-old open to improvement, get a little bit of weight. I can see this being well backed, and I can see this winning very easily.
Yeah, so take the night. I mean, already in there from 11 to 2 into 9 to 2, but yeah, the step up and trip on that pedigree definitely is going to suit, isn't it, for this for this handicap then for Vision of Hope for this filly in the 225 at Lingfield. Right, back to Chelmsford next for a 0 to 70 handicap for 3-year-olds and over 7 furlongs at 240. What do you make of this race, Daryl?
Lord Paramount a win. That's all we can really sort of say about this. I think odds on price tag. It's really not a race, I don't think, to be getting too deep in. So that's it. Yeah, that's my spiel.
No. Honestly, leave it exactly as that then. Yeah, Lord Paramount. He's currently the 8 to 11 favourite, but Daryl thinks he is a good thing. Andrew, do you agree, or do you have another way into this race?
I've not looked at it in that much detail to say, for God's sake, don't or do back Lord Paramount. But what you notice is that before that Wolverhampton win last time out, he was beaten at short odds on 3 occasions, 9 to 4, 6 to 5 favourite, 5 to 4 on, only finishing 3rd at Kempton. He's not particularly well drawn. He's switching surfaces from Topeka to Chelmsford, and but then you look at the sort of quality of the opposition, you think, well, Jamie Osborne's got a 6 to 1 shot that hasn't won one of his 23 starts. Then there's probably not much in the way to take it on with. I'll go token selection on Got No Dollars, just because the Stuart Williams yard is going well after that. I mean, they're shocking year on turf this year, about 4% strike rate. poor old Tom Morley, our William Hill radio colleague, who's got horses with Stuart Williams and Robert Carroll, who both had similarly nightmarish years. So yeah, got no dollars. Hopefully, having run respectably at Kempton last time out, finishing fourth at 25-1, reasonably drawn compared to the favourite. Maybe he can do something here, but yeah, it's not a race I've spent any time on yet. Although looking at the shape of it, you're kind of almost obliged to bet something each way, because they bet 11-8 on, 11-2, 6, 8, 12, and then 25-1 bar 5.
Yeah, exactly. So each way shot to nothing then, and got no dollars at 8-1 is that a good looking play then for that race if you don't want to take the short price about the favourite. Right, good race up now. It's the Winter Oaks Trial Fillies handicap, which is a 0-105 handicap for 3-year-olds and over fillies, over a mile 2 at 3 o'clock at Lingfield. Just for 6 declared here, Andrew, where Viola is the top rated, but will that count for much in this race in your opinion?
Probably not. If you look at this, you can be sort of forgiven for thinking that Viola won this race last year, which she sort of did, but that was when it was staged at Southwell to Peter, and it was a mile 3. So, I mean, given that James Fanshaw's horses are 99 times out of 100 given patient rides, Lingfield is generally not his track. I mean, I'm trying to think of the name of the horse who won here on Wednesday, just got up William Buick by a short head, short price favourite. Again, coming from way back. So I don't think Viola's going to repeat last year's success. The one I've got to be with, I'm going nap on this, is Tequila Mockingbird. I've done Paul Keeley's column in the Weekender this week, and so I've gone with this one. And I'll put her up last time out. She's got a fantastic record on the all-weather in general, 3 wins from 6 starts, and particularly on Polytrack. It's a win at Lingfield, a win at Kempton, a 5th at Kempton, when she was a real eye catcher, because she was caught out wide under a patient ride from James Doyle, who, a bit like Jamie Spencer, doesn't know how to ride any horses in many other ways, and he was so far wide, and he sort of stopped riding when he realised he couldn't win the race. He's only got beaten 3 1/4 lengths, so finishing 5th of 8. Next time out, Ross Coakley on board in a race devoid of pace. I know a lot of tipsters who went for Dinu, the progressive Roger variant horse, which you could understand, but he's a hold-up horse in a race devoid of pace at Lingfield. And Ross Coakley's got Tequila Mockingbird in the perfect position throughout, just stalking the pace, as the majority of recent Lingfield winners have, and won by a nose. And she only got up a pound for that. That was a Class 4. She's up to Class 2. I don't think that's going to be a problem. I mean, you've got the very progressive Queen of Ipanema up from Class 4 to Class 2 for George Bowie and William Buick here. But I see the two as having similar chances, and one of them's 2-1, the other one's 11-1. If you can be on with the Green Clowns. But yeah, Tequila Mockingbird for me.
Yeah, one of the best named horses in training as well. Tequila Mockingbird, the 11-1 outsider of the field then for Andrew, as he just alluded to, napping her up as well. So very interesting play then in this. Daryl, where are you looking?
Yeah, he's going to hate this, but I'm with her as well.
Oh,
I am. Well, for the I tipped up Sweet Fantasy to win last time, right? And then I was just looking at like the overall times and stuff, race at Lingfield and that, and their form, Tequila Mockingbird and Sweet Fantasy, ties in quite tightly through a couple of horses, and I just couldn't understand why Sweet Fantasy was half the price that Tequila Mockingbird was. Now, I think that they're looking at it thinking that Charlie Fellowes' horses sort of held on last time from the rally and Dino, but she made a good move around the bend, quickened up really smartly. I think she's a faster horse than Sweet Fantasy, and I think she's just shown everything, all the signs of a progressive horse with each start. She's 2 for 2 at Lingfield. She arrives in excellent heart, whereas I suppose you could say the same about Sweet Fantasy, but Seed Tsarina for William Haggis has got a little bit to prove, as has Viola, who is a good horse, but she's not much better than 97. And like Andrew said, she won this race last year at Southwell, which provided a bit more of a stamina test for her. This is a shorter strip she's run over, and it was over a furlong further there. So I think she might just lack the necessary pace. I didn't think Taharson was improving really. I thought just sort of despite winning last time, was just sort of running to sort of the same level. So I just couldn't understand why she was 11 to 1 outsiders. She was one of the first horses I backed, actually. I've already backed her. I've already managed to get on at 10 to 1. So I'm happy with that. I think she'll go very close.
You should have taken the 11s.
Yeah,
well,
show it again.
I'm lucky to be able to get on at this time, and that's only through an argument.
I had to take the odds as well.
Oh, well done to the pair of you two then for getting on her already. But yeah, Tequila Mockingbird, the pair of you two agreeing with an outsider in one of the better races on the card then at Lingfield as well. So we will take that and then some. Right, our final scheduled race from Chelmsford is a 0 to 52 handicap for 3-year-olds and over 6 furlongs at 3:15. Lots of questions for plenty of these to have to answer, Daryl. So how are you playing this one?
Yeah, Christ, 0 to 52.
Yeah.
Mad, isn't it? How was I going to play this one? Look, I wasn't going to play this one in all honesty because I just can't trust anything at this very low level. 0 to 52 is just an outrageous bracket.
Exactly, yeah.
I mean, I could probably run to 50. Elegant Ellen, I can see why she at top of the market, stayed on quite strongly last time, caught the eye a little bit. I thought Breezy and Bright might be the one to be with. I thought no offense to the lad, Mr. Elliot Holiday, claim said, but he was just not experienced at all enough to even give this horse justice last time. Kevin Stott's back on board. I thought it was quite an eye-catching run at Chelmsford behind Red Bulls the time before. This horse has sort of fallen into this bracket as opposed to having been in this bracket for a long time. And at 10 to 1, I think you can take a chance on the 4-year-old go close, stepping up and or hasn't had as many goes over 6 furlongs. This is definitely the trip. So, yeah, I think Breezy and Bright will go close.
Yeah, you sounded very convinced by that.
Yeah,
that
very enthusiastic, aren't I?
Real enthusiastic, yeah. 10 to 1 about Breezy and Bright anyway, Kevin Stott back on board. And I want to see Daryl Carter first reserve in the next 0 to 50 handicap anyway at Chelmsford. So, Andrew, what level do you think you can run to and who's you fancy for this?
Yeah, I'll go Amazing Amaya. She's not well drawn in stall 10, but that doesn't matter for her because she's an exaggerated hold-up horse, so she'll just be dropped in. She usually runs over 5 furlongs, usually at Wolverhampton, and they usually don't go quick enough for her, and she stays on the end and finishes sort of 3rd or 4th. She's got a fair record at Chelmsford. She's beaten a lot of her rivals when she runs here, 3rd, 1st, and 5th. And yeah, without having gone through it with the fine-tooth comb to look at the pace, given the number of runners and the low grade and the amount of sort of first-time headgear and just a few from memory that like to race up at the pace. Hopefully the early pace will look after herself and she can just plod on into the first 4. I'm sure you'll be getting extra places on this race.
Yeah, you're Stuart Williams fanboy then this weekend or on Saturday, at least anyway. Shamshon 6 to 1 then for Andrew.
No, Amazing Amaya, that was.
Oh, sorry, Amazing Amaya even. Apologies. Oh yeah, that's it. You are getting the bigger price, aren't you? Then 17 to 2 about Amazing Mayor.
I think even if Stuart Williams had won with his last 100 winners, I wouldn't be backing Shamshon. God bless him. Sorry, Tom.
Amazing Mayor. That was 17 to 2, bigger price as well. Then so even better. Yeah, on the Derek Shaw bandwagon, we'll change that up then. And our final race is a decent one. This is the Listed Quebec Stakes for 3-year-olds and over a mile 2 at 3:33. So another listed contest with 6 declared runners. Andrew, who are you siding with this time?
Yeah, we talked about a lot of these, didn't we, when they met a few weeks ago? Where was that? 12th of November in the Churchill Stakes listed race over this 10 furlong trip. Now that day, I mean, Algiers was a little bit unlucky, I thought. He ran an absolute cracker. The downside was that under Rab Haviland, he went towards that inside rail in the very closing stages and missed the cut for George Bowie, the favourite, ridden by Uncle Jim. Sort of came late and just wore him down by a short head. But he had 3 1/4 lengths to spare over Arovian and another 4 1/4 back to Forest of Dean. The worry here is, I mean, Jack Mitchell rides Lingfield really well, particularly over the longer trips, but he is drawn in stall 1. He's possibly the pace angle as well. So it's just a case of if that rail's no good, which it probably isn't, what will he do? Will he manage to get him off it? But I think I'd still have to side with him, Algiers, because he just has got so much in hand over the other 2 on that latest running, and yet they're 11 to 4 and 6 to 1. And I'm struggling to see how they're going to reverse the form unless there is a sort of big rail bias. It's dead on the inside, and Algiers from stall 1 ends up in the swamp throughout. But it's yeah, 11:08 is probably a fair enough price now, I think, to take that chance.
Perfect. Yeah, Algiers as the 11-8 favourite in that 333 to uphold the form with those reopposing rivals for Andrew. Daryl, how do you see this one?
Yeah, very similar, very, very similar to Algiers. I think it's a word beating. It was a real good time that he ran that day. He was very unlucky just to be run down by Mr. Cut, who bounced back to form, but there's nothing of that quality in here this time. He's already had a Rovian and Vorosadine behind. I don't know what the stats are for Andrew, might be able to tell us. The John Gosden's second time in cheek pieces.
This is why we've got you here, Andrew. You save us an awful lot of wasted time.
I'm not dying stat.
Come on, stat man.
Come on.
Yeah, the stat man there.
Get yourself pro form subscription.
I will have a look, but that sort of would be the only sort of way you could cling to any sort of reverse of form if you know those stats on John Gosden's second time cheek pieces mean that they took a big step forward next time for the headgear is what I'm trying to get at. But other than that, I can't see how he's beaten. He's a very fast horse. He's improving all the time. It was a career best last time. He's gonna get the run of the race from stall one. I don't know why he's not even money and the shade of odds on. Maybe he will be on the day. But for now, 11-8 is a fantastic price.
Oh, I love that then. Yeah, so you heard it here first, and it is the price at the current time of recording. So if he does shorten up, well, there's nothing we can really do about that at this time. Anyway, so both of the lads then with Algiers in the 333 at Lingfield as our final scheduled race. So Daryl, I'll throw it back to you, please, for anything from anywhere else.
No, because I've got all confused, Kate. So I think they've changed all the times.
I don't even know what's on, to be honest. So
they've changed all the times, haven't they? Because
yeah,
I've written a load of books down and before declarations, and now it's all changed. So no, I've got nothing from anywhere else.
No, to be fair, that was a bit of a hospital pass, to be honest with you. Anyway, to say like anything from anywhere else, don't know what's on, don't know what time, don't know what's running. But yeah, Andrew, if you've got anything more definitive.
I didn't realise there was anything else, so no, not for me.
No, exactly. Yeah, completely fair from this weekend of all weekend. So Andrew, back to you, please, for your nap.
Tequila Mockingbird.
Oh yeah, of course. Yes, as the outsider, 11-1 at the current time of recording. Then Tequila Mockingbird. Daryl, sorry, Andrew's already sold on that one. Where are you going?
No, that's fine. I knew he would. A Vision of Hope in the 225 at Lingfield.
Perfect. Vision of Hope, therefore, to hopefully prove herself stepping up a trip for that handicap. And I'm just going to go Pepper Street because why not? In the 115 at Lingfield, when all else fails, go for an each way price horse for as your nap. So that is everything from us this week. Thank you for sticking with us. Sorry, it's all been not really what you were expecting on this week's schedule, but thank you so much to the lads for all of their hard work. So last minute that we had this change up as well. So thank you to the pair of you two for that. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully we'll have some jumping action back for you next week.
Well.